All right, I'm back with another video. Um, you had seen my last video about the ESP32 board that I had posted and how that I wanted to use it. It's an Arduino board. This is actually it right here, the ESP32. I told you that you could get these for about $6, $7 off of Amazon, and that's of course if you buy three of them. It's about $17 for three of these. And this other board that I've got here is just some relays, resistors, and transistors that I'm using to actually um, switch 12 volt. The ESP32's 5 volt, and I think the output's like 3.3 volt on the outputs. I believe that's right. It may be 5 volts, but I think it's 3 volts, 3.3 volts. Um, outputs on the ESP32. So I'm just using some transistors and resistors and some relays to switch the 12 volts that it takes to operate the antenna switch that is 75 feet away from the house. Okay. If you originally remember, if you watched the last video, you know that I was using let's see here, I'll pull it up. I was using a rotary switch, such as this, on my operating position so that I could switch between antennas 1, 2, 3, and 4. I wanted a little bit more control remotely, so I looked into the ESP32. Of course, it's an Arduino type board. I've got it a little program that is put in it to listen for MQTT commands from a Mosquito MQTT broker that's located on my Node-RED Raspberry Pi in my data closet. Um, so I have created some Node-RED flows. I just wanted to make kind of a follow-up video and show some of my Node-RED flows and what I'm doing to use this ESP32. So the ESP32 board is actually just sitting there listening to be commanded to flip relays on and off. Okay, so that's all that this is really doing here. All right, that's all that this does. That program's been running. It's been bug free for about 2 weeks now. I have had a little problem when Wi-Fi would disconnect from the ESP32. It would not reconnect. So doing research and things online, I figured out how to keep the Wi-Fi connected. I've shut down my Wi-Fi access point here multiple times. It automatically reconnects. The other issue was that my MQTT, or this wasn't connecting back to the MQTT broker um, after the broker would maybe reboot or go offline. So, of course, through lots of research online, I figured out how to make the MQTT broker continue a connection all the time, and I haven't had any issues with that since. So that's working out pretty good. I've built another board since this. I've built a double-decker board with multiple or more relays on it, just to give me a little bit more control here over some other things. So, all right. So to my Node-RED flow now. If you haven't already, go look at Alpha Zero Z's YouTube page, and you'll learn a lot about Node-RED there. I'm just going to show you my flows here. So my control flow for this board that sends information to the Mosquito MQTT broker. This is my flow. It was really simple in the beginning because I just had it set up with some buttons. This is the actual dashboard. So if I, turn on 20-meter antenna, I turned it on. If I turned on the 75-meter antenna, it selects the antenna. So, real simple. Antenna switch off. Everything's in the off position. All that, is real simple. And then, get to thinking, well, if I can control it now with just push button, then how about, automatically selecting when I go to a certain frequency? So I went to the ham radio, Node-RED ham radio a group on group.io, and I found a flow here from Romeo Mike 3 Delta Alpha. Of course, I use Ham Radio Deluxe as my rig control and the logbook for logging, and also for rotor control. Once I type the call sign in, I can hit enter and hit rotator, and it will move the beam toward that station's QTH. This flow from Romeo Mike 3 Delta Alpha, Romeo Mike 3 Delta Alpha. He's got this flow that he can pull. You can pull frequency information from HRD. So, of course, I added a little bit to it. Created a couple little things, or put a couple of things in it to help out with it. It's a little. If you don't have HRD running when you fire up your Node-RED, then sometimes it doesn't connect. But I did create a refresh connection there so that if the Node-RED dashboards, you just hit the refresh button, it will connect. Okay, so let's go to Ham Radio Deluxe. Of course, you can notice that the ICOM 7300 is turned off. I'm going to turn on Ham Radio Deluxe here. All right, select my ICOM 7300, connect. You'll notice that, of course, it turns on the 7300. All the USB interfaces coming back up. Okay, logbook, rotator. Now, I will say that as far as for rotor control, I have a Ham 4 rotor control. It's an older one. I would say that it's probably 15 years old, maybe a little bit older. It works great. I've got the old control box just down here to my right. It works great. But I needed to be able to control it from the computer. So years ago, I tried to use or tried to do some remote control, and I did. I had a TS2000 for years. I had a QTH about 30 miles east of here, 60-foot tower, TH 7 beam up, and I was able to, through Skype and a computer and DSL internet, was able to remotely control that station while I traveled. So I had an old EA4TX board. Of course, he makes those now that are USB controlled, but mine is an old LPT port type controlled EA4TX board. So, of course, I had to buy an LPT port to go in my computer, but that works great. I have to use this little, I think it's what's it actually called? It's called ARS-COM or ARS-VCOM. What it essentially does is creates a virtual COM port um, for your rotor control. So, of course, I had to go into the Ham 4 rotor box and tap all the connections, to be able to move the beam left or right, or and be able to see where the beam was as far as the potentiometer, I think, that's in there, or the rheostat, or whatever is in the rotor that lets you know where you're at by resistance on the meter. So all those connections have been tapped and run into that EA4TX board. So this box here, um, this actually receives the signals from the Ham 4, and it just stays in my taskbar all the time. There's not a reason to even mess with it anymore. It just stay up as long as the computer stays up. And then the rotor Yaesu, or the HRD rotator box here, I can select the COM port that this thing is connected to virtually, and connect to it. And of course, right now it's showing that the antenna's due south. Okay, so I want to show you some remote control to that here in just a second as well. So that's kind of a rabbit story to what I wanted to originally show you here on this video. But anyway, I got the Node-RED dashboard working. I can select the antennas, whichever antenna I want to select, that's good. Then I thought, well, if I can do that by pushing a button, then I can also do it by whichever band that I'm on. It will automatically select the antenna that I'm used to using on that band. So if I bring up HRD, of course, you see I'm on 6 meters right now. I was trying to work a little 6 meter DX this morning. Wasn't anything on. It looked like 2 meters sideband was open, but I never did hear any stations. So I flipped over to 6 meters and didn't hear anything there neither. But anyway, so I want to kind of bring this over to the side or where I can show you multiple things. Of course, right now I can select by selecting the 6 meter beam. I can do this where you can see. Okay, so I can select the 6 meter beam. I can select the 75 meter dipole. All that's great, right? Well, now if I turn on auto selection, all right, because I'm on 50.125, it is automatically selecting the 6 meter beam. Okay. All right, so we're here. Let's switch to 20 meters. Go to 20 meters. The Node-RED dashboard changes. The frequency, of course, that's because of that flow from RA3 or RM3DA. And if I was to go to 7 or 15 meters, the antenna stays the same because it's tri-band, 10 meter, 15, 20. If I go to, let's see, if I go to 40 meters, okay, goes to the 40 meter dipole. And you see how that works, okay? If I turn the switch off, it will automatically turn it back on because um, it's on auto selection. Turn auto selection off, turn the antenna off, everything is completely disconnected. Okay, so rotor control. I wanted to be able to turn on the rotor. So in the ham4 control box, I put a 12-volt relay in there parallel with the switch on the front of the box. So I can reach down and turn the rotor control box on with a switch, or I can turn it on with the Node-RED dashboard. Okay, you'll notice now that when the rotor control box is turned on, you see it's showing my antenna position. Okay, so turn the rotor control box off, everything goes south. Okay, turn the rotor back on, of course it's on. Moving the antenna, moving it over here north. All right, beaming Europe. All right, so that's just what I wanted to show you. I wanted to kind of follow up with what I've been doing here, building. Of course, you see on my Node-RED dashboard today, it's 99.7 degrees. That's off of my weather station. I've got a weather station outside that's connected to another Raspberry Pi. I may go over it one day. It's using WE Weather, WEE Weather, or WEEWX. My Davis weather station is connected to that. It's logging all my weather data, and I think every 3 minutes it pulls the information in a text document. I've got a flow that does that from the weather server out in the shack or out in the my building, and it shows all the information. Of course, I've got it here on the dashboard as well. Maybe a little bit later you'll see this streaming dashboard up. Let's see here, if I So you go streaming dashboard on. No, that's not it. Okay. I believe it's because my monitors, I've got them swapped. But anyway, you may see me working a little DX with this dashboard up on YouTube. So, stay tuned. I'm liable to do about anything with this stuff. I enjoy ham radio. Been doing it for, I guess, since I was 13. I'm 41 now, so it's been a good while. And I don't talk a lot on the radio, but I do enjoy tinkering around with all this stuff. So anyway, this is that. You'll notice that if I switch bands on this 7300, you'll notice that the Node Red dashboard will eventually change here, I hope. Let's see. All right. Sometimes it takes a refresh to get that flow going. I haven't really figured out exactly why it takes that, but once that flows up, you can change frequencies and it changes them here. Of course, if I turn auto selection on, it's going to automatically select the 20-meter antenna. Real simple there. If I switch to 40 meters again, it selects the 40-meter antenna. Okay, 6 meters. Selects 6-meter beam. All right, back to 40 meters. All right, pretty fast, and it does work. All right, 73 for now. Maybe if you like the video, like it. Don't want to force you to, but if you do, like it. Subscribe to my channel. I'm probably got a few more things coming up real soon that you may enjoy. All right, talk to you on the next video.